There is something missing from every self-improvement video you have ever watched, every single one. And that missing piece is the reason you keep watching them. You keep watching because the videos keep almost working. They make you feel smarter, but they do not make you different. I know what is missing, and when I tell you, it might make you a little angry. Because once you see it, you will realize how many hours of your life you have spent circling around something that was never going to change you in the first place. My granddaughter sent me a video the other day. She said, "Grandma, you need to watch this. It explains everything." The title said it would explain life in 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So I watched it. All 15. And I will tell you something important. That video is not wrong. In fact, almost none of it is wrong. That is the tricky part. But it is missing something so enormous that I am not sure the person who made it even knows it is missing. And that missing piece is the thing that will actually save your life, if you let it. Now that sounds like a big claim. I understand that. But I spent 39 years sitting across from teenagers in a small office with a fern on the windowsill and a ceramic bowl of peppermints on my desk. 39 years. And in that time, I watched roughly 12,000 young people try to figure out the exact same thing you are trying to figure out right now: how to live, how to not waste it, how to stop feeling like you are falling behind, how to stop feeling like everyone else received instructions for life that you somehow missed. And I am going to tell you something that none of those videos will ever tell you, because it does not fit neatly into a chapter. It does not sound clever in a voiceover, and you cannot package it into a tidy list of 7 steps, but it is the truth, and you need it far more than you need another list of principles. So stay with me, because the missing piece is not complicated. It is just inconvenient. The video my granddaughter sent talked about something called the gach-effort paradox. You have probably heard it. The idea that the harder you chase something, happiness, success, approval, the more it runs away. And there is truth in that. I watched it happen in my office constantly. The students who were most desperate to be popular were often the loneliest. The ones most obsessed with getting into the right college were often the ones who fell apart once they got there. I remember a boy named Marcus Weber in 1983. Marcus was a wrestler, strong kid, disciplined, quiet. He wanted a wrestling scholarship more than anything, and at first that seemed admirable, but somewhere along the way, the desire turned into desperation. He started cutting weight dangerously, stopped sleeping, stopped eating properly, pushed away every friend he had. Everything in his life narrowed down to that one goal: scholarship, scholarship, scholarship. By senior year, he was sitting in my office at 7 in the morning crying, not because he failed, but because he could not remember why he wanted it in the first place. He did get the scholarship, and he quit after 1 semester. That is the effort paradox in real life, not a theory. But here is what that video did not tell you. Marcus did not fail because he tried too hard. Marcus failed because he was trying to become someone he was not, for people who did not know him, to prove something that never needed proven. The problem was not effort. The problem was direction. And that distinction will change everything if you understand it. You do not need to try less. You need to try honestly. There is a world of difference between working hard at something that matters to you and grinding yourself into dust for something you think is supposed to matter. One builds a life, the other slowly hollows it out. The video also talked about control. You cannot control events, it said. You can only control your actions and reactions. The Stoics figured that out 2,000 years ago, and that is true. But I want to tell you what that actually looks like when it is not a quote on a screen. It looks like a 15-year-old girl named Diane Calloway sitting in my office in 1978. Her father had moved out the night before. No warning, no goodbye, just gone. Her mother had started drinking. Her little brother had begun wetting the bed again from the stress. Diane sat there with tears running down her face, asking me what she was supposed to do. Now think about that. What could she control? Not her father leaving, not her mother drinking, not the chaos in that house, but she could control one thing: whether she showed up tomorrow. That is what I asked her. Not to fix her life, not to understand philosophy, just one question. Can you come back to school tomorrow? And she nodded. Then she came back the next day, and the next, and the next. Diane graduated. She became a dental hygienist in Westerville. She is in her 60s now. I still get a Christmas card from her every year. But when she sat in my office that morning, she was not thinking about Stoic philosophy. She was not applying frameworks. She was just a scared kid deciding to keep going one more day. And that decision was not philosophical, it was muscular. The hardest thing she had ever done. The video also talked about happiness, how happiness is a byproduct, not something you can chase directly. Again, not wrong. But after watching thousands of people grow up, stumble, fail, recover, fall in love, divorce, start over, I noticed something simpler. The people who ended up what I would call content had one skill: attention. That is it. They paid attention. They could sit in a room and actually be in the room. They could listen to someone without preparing their reply. They could eat a meal and taste it. They could walk through a park and see the park, not just use it as background scenery for their thoughts. There was a student named Grace Linsky in 1991. Average grades, worked at a pet store. Nothing about her transcript suggested she would stand out. But Grace had this remarkable quality. When she talked to you, she was fully there. No distraction, no performance, just presence. I remember thinking at the time, that girl is going to be fine. And she is. She lives in Granville now, raises goats, makes cheese, sells it at the farmer's market, one of the most peaceful people I know. Grace did not find purpose. She found attention. And attention is the foundation of everything else. You cannot love someone you are not paying attention to. You cannot enjoy something you are not paying attention to. You cannot improve at something you are not paying attention to. Every principle in those videos requires attention to work, but nobody says that part, because pay attention is only 2 words, and it does not fill a chapter. Now I want to tell you about the biggest lie I saw across 40 years of students. It was not laziness. It was not ignorance. It was certainty. The hardest students to help were the ones who were sure. Sure they were not smart enough. Sure they had to become lawyers because their fathers were lawyers. Sure things would never change. Certainty feels like truth. But most of the time it is just fear wearing armor. The students who were confused were easier. Confused people are open. Certainty closes the door before the conversation even begins. If you are certain about something that makes you miserable, question the certainty. Underneath that floorboard is usually something better. I have seen it too many times to doubt it. But here is the part those videos cannot give you. And this is the part that matters most. Those videos make life feel like a puzzle. Learn the principles, apply them correctly, win the game. But life is not a puzzle. Life is a series of Tuesdays, ordinary Tuesdays where nothing remarkable happens, and yet everything happens. My husband Donald ate the same breakfast for 30 years. 2 eggs over easy, 1 piece of toast, black coffee. He read the sports section. Asked me how I slept. Left for work at 7:45. 30 years of Tuesdays. And I will tell you something honestly. If I could trade every piece of wisdom I learned in my life for one more Tuesday morning with him at that kitchen table, I would do it in a heartbeat. Because life is not the lessons. Life is the moments you are too busy analyzing to notice. Your coffee getting cold, someone laughing in the next room, the exact color of the sky right now outside your window. You are watching a video about life, while life quietly unfolds around you. I learned this most painfully through my son Patrick. Patrick struggled with alcohol for many years. He understood everything about addiction, triggers, habit loops, psychology. He could explain it better than most therapists, but he kept drinking. Because knowing is not doing. Understanding your patterns is not the same as changing them. He got sober at 41, not because of a new insight, but because one morning his daughter Emma flinched when he reached out to hug her. 4 years old, and she flinched. That moment broke something open inside him. He has been sober 12 years now, runs a landscaping company, coaches Emma's volleyball team. If you ask him what saved his life, he will not say a framework. He will say a 4-year-old flinching. I am 90 years old now. I was born in 1936 in Youngstown, Ohio. My father worked in a steel mill. My mother altered clothes for neighbors. I was the first person in my family to go to college, and for 39 years I sat in a small office and listened. That is mostly what I did. I listened, and after 12,000 students, 3 children, 7 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and a life that has been wonderfully ordinary. Here is what I know. Life cannot be explained in 15 minutes. It cannot be explained in 15 hours. It probably cannot be explained at all, but it can be lived. And the living of it is the explanation. You do not figure out life first and then go live it. You live it, and the understanding arrives slowly along the way, usually when you are not looking for it, usually on a Tuesday, usually over eggs. So here is what I want you to do. Not someday, now. Close the video. Go sit with someone you love, not to discuss philosophy. Just sit, look at them, notice how they hold their coffee cup. Notice the way they breathe when they do not know you are watching. That is love, not the explanation of it, the thing itself. For 39 years, I kept peppermints in a bowl on my desk. Every student who came in took one. Sometimes that peppermint was the only sweet thing in their entire day. And I think about that a lot now. How small gestures carry enormous weight. How ordinary moments quietly hold entire lives inside them. You do not need another video explaining life. You need a peppermint. You need a Tuesday. You need to pay attention. Now go do that. I will be here if you need me. I have always been here.